This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Hi, good morning all. So let's get started now. So we are working on service level agreements, right? Okay, so here, so let's route auto loan assignment and home loan assignment to the manager, and we'll see how those items are getting displayed in the work list of manager. Okay, so and urgency will be the same by default. We haven't changed that. Okay, so by default it will be the 10 for all the assignments. So now first let's route the home loan assignment, then auto loan, and see how those items are getting displayed. Okay, so now, so just for testing purpose, I am routing the first assignment of home loan and auto loan to the manager. So we are routing the first assignment. So let's check out. And so this is assignment, right? So when you execute the flow, immediately it will be routed to the manager. So you will not be able to perform any screen. So let's change from current operator to PNC manager. Okay. Next, go to the auto loan and route the first assignment. Operator manager at the rate of PNC. Okay. So now let's route the home loan assignment first. So let's execute it. So it has been routed, right? So the work object ID is HL-81. So now go to the manager portal. My work. So HL-81, right? So now let's route auto loan assignment. Execute it. So let's refresh. Okay. So now auto loan assignment is getting displayed. So let's route again home loan. Okay. So here the by default, see the latest assignments are getting displayed on top of the list. Okay. So now auto loan assignments are more priority than home loan always. So in that case, though you route a home loan assignment, auto loan assignments have to be displayed on top of the list. Okay, so now for that, so we need to increase the urgency of auto loan. Okay, so but here, so we do not see auto urgency here, right? So let's open the case. So here we don't see the urgency, so we need to customize the section here. Okay, so here also we can see the same assignments. Okay, so but here, so we do not see the urgency, right? So this is the repeating grid, means like behind this we have a table, so where we have the sum columns are available. Okay, and if you want to see the urgency of each assignment, so we need to customize it. Okay, so now first let's customize this and we'll observe that the work object assignments. Okay. So in some versions, so by default you will see the urgency property. Okay, and here, so by default it is not getting displayed. So we need to identify the what section is being used, and so we need to include urgency property. Okay, so we have a section called, so if you want to identify, so we have a tool called live UI, and so we need to enable for manager portal, and we can check that. So we'll do that later, but so here we have a section called py work list combine widgets grids main. So this is the section being used here, so we need to customize this. Okay, so if you want to identify, so we need to enable the live UI tool for here for manager portal, and we can see. Okay, so let's see. So I want to identify what section is being used here. So if you are seeing the data, that means behind that we have the sections, right? So take the live UI and move the cursor, and you will find the rule like this. So we'll be discussing more about the live UI tool as part of the UI architecture. Okay, so now let's take the section. You can note down this py work list combine widget grids main. So this is the section available in data portal class. Okay, and so now see, so this section is available in OOTB rule set, and so we have to save as into our rule set if we want to modify. Okay, so see here we have two tables. Okay, so when I say table or repeating grid, both are same. In some versions, the earlier versions we call it repeating grid, the 7.2 or prior versions. Okay, so now we are calling it table, but both are same. So if you look at here, so we have two tables. So one is for assign work list. This is for work list assignments, and see assign work basket. So if you route an assignment to the work basket, those items will be stored in some table, right? Uh, if you route an assignment to the work basket, and that will be displayed here. Okay, so we have two tables, right? So now we need to customize this, the save as into your rule set, the application rule set. The class should not be changed, it should be the same. So this is related to the portal. Okay. So we have a manager portal, right? So all the rules like which being used there comes under data portal class, most of the rules. Okay. So we have the same rule available in out of the box rule set, Pega end user, and our rule set. So priority goes to the our rule set. Okay, it will pick the rule from our rule set. Okay, so now here, so the table is referring to the assign work list. That means you will be able to use all the properties here available under assign work list class. Okay, the same way, so where we use the tables for calling assets and liabilities, right? So asset type and asset value, but similarly, so we'll be able to use all the properties which are belongs to assign work list or inheritance path. So if we have the properties under assigned as, you can use and base class. Okay. Insert, right? Insert one more column. So here we have a property called px urgency assign. Okay. Px urgency assign, and the label you put urgency. Okay. Similarly, you add it for below table also. Okay. And if you want px assigned operator id, let's add that. So to whom it is assigned, so you can know that if you want. Okay. In some version, like if you are working on 7.2, so by default you will see the urgency, so you don't need to add like this. Okay. So now let's check in after doing the changes and see here. Now you see urgency, right? So even you see the 10 for both auto loan as well as home loan. So now, so I'm increasing the urgency to the only auto loan, so that always auto loan assignment will be displayed on top of the list. Okay, so later like you execute auto loan, okay, and it will be available on top of the list, and later when you route home loan assignment, that will be displayed the below the auto loan, so which has 20 urgency. Okay, so let's do that. So now requirement is auto loan assignments are more priority than home loan assignments. So in that case, so we need to increment the urgency. Okay, we need to increase the urgency. So in the real-time application, so user will not pick assignment randomly. So we will have get next work. So when you click on that, so the most appropriate assignment will be opened automatically. Okay. Any question? So now, so let's yeah.
The get next work will use only urgency as a parameter or any other field as well.
Yeah, it will consider other fields also. We'll discuss about it. So we have some properties, there's some fields available in the operator profile, right? Okay, like by default, it will consider work list items, then work basket. But if you want work basket items first, then we need to enable option in the operator profile. This is for get next work.
Okay.
Let me show you that. Okay, so get from work queues first. Okay, by default, so work queue items will be retrieved, and if you want the work basket items first, then we need to enable this. Okay, we'll explain, we'll come to this. Okay, yeah, so the auto loan assignment should have more priority. For that, we need to increase the urgency. So where we need to do that, where we can set the urgency for auto loan. Yesterday I have shown you, right?
Assignment.
At initial load will be we can increase, I think.
Yeah. So we have a py default data transform. First, we need to identify where this 10 value is being set. Correct. So this is the static value, right? Means somewhere, this value is being set to some property. Okay. So we need to identify that rule, that is py default data transform. Okay. And so we have a property called px urgency work class. Okay. So here we'll have somewhere the px urgency work class. So, and this is the default value. So now take this property. So go to the py default of auto loan. Okay. So it should not be under work class. If you put in the work class, then that will be applicable for even home loan also, right? Yeah. So, and it is there in 02. What we need to do? Save as into 03. Because 02 is locked, right? So now use px urgency work class, and this is applicable for only auto loan assignments, auto loan flow. Okay, and put 20. So now let's execute auto loan. L-164. So now let's execute home loan. So usually, the home loan assignment will be displayed on top of the list. Okay, then auto loan, right? So now if you look at the assignments order, auto loan assignment is there on the top because urgency. Okay, and later, like if this, we can change the urgency at any point of time. Let's say, so we have SLA rule where different intervals, right? So we can change the urgency for every 1 hour or like that. And later, like at some point of time, if the urgency for home loan increases, like, if it is more than 20, then those assignments will be displayed on top. Okay, clear? So now let's come to the manager SLA. Okay, this is just we define urgency. So urgency defines the priority of an assignment. Okay, so now, so we have a SLA rule that can be configured on the assignment. Okay, and at each interval, so we can increase the urgency. Let's say, we routed an assignment. If manager doesn't take any action in 1 hour, so we need to increase the urgency. So that, like, priority of that assignment, will be increased. Okay, and at each interval, so we can call some rules. Okay, we haven't created it. Let's SLA is part of process category. Go to the service level agreement. Okay. Manager SLA. So let's say you created this SLA and applied on assignment. Okay, let's say the first assignment of home loan. So when assignment is created, immediately it will be routed. And so what will be the urgency? So when you create a home loan assignment,
10.
so what is the urgency?
10.
10, right? So it will be 10. And if we set initial urgency, let's say 5, it will be how much? So 15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say default urgency always 10 until unless we change it. Okay. And so we have a initial urgency that we are setting 5. And so once assignment is created, urgency will be 50. Okay. So now let's say assignment is created at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so we can set some goal time. Okay. So we can set in the days or hours or minutes like that. Okay. So let's say goal time is 1 hour. That means assignment is created at 9 o'clock. Okay. And goal time is 1 hour and goal urgency. So can we put here? Let's say different intervals, like we have goal, deadline, and past deadline, right? So we have 3 different intervals. Let's say goal time is 1 hour and goal urgency. So at each interval again, so you can put the urgency to be incremented. Okay. So let's say goal urgency is 10. That means, let's say assignment is created at 9 o'clock in the morning and goal time is 1 hour. That means if doesn't take any action by 10 o'clock, the urgency will be incremented to 10. That means, so what will be the total urgency?
25.
Yeah, total urgency will be, yeah, 10 plus already we have 15, 25. Okay, total urgency. Next, let's say deadline is 2 hours, but here both goal time and deadline time will start calculating at the same time. So always deadline time should be greater than goal time. If you are trying to put less than 1 hour in the deadline, it will not accept. Okay. So that means, like, so 9 plus 2 at 11 o'clock, if manager doesn't take any action by 11, and let's assume that we have a, urgency here 10 again. So it will be 35. Okay. And let's say, past deadline time will start calculating after completing the deadline. Let's say deadline time is 1 hour, and here let's say 15, amounts to increase is 15. That means after past deadline it will be 50. Okay, so this is how urgency gets incremented every time when the interval passed. Okay, so now at each interval you see some actions, right? So we can call some escalation activities, and you can call some other rules also. Let's say if you want to call another flow if manager doesn't take any action in 1 hour, or if you want to set some properties through data transform, or if you want to treat it as you need to advance the flow. In some cases, right, if they don't approve in a week, it has to consider as a auto approved, right? So in that case, like so we can advance the flow, and that particular flow action we need to specify. So wherever we invoke this SLA in assignment, right, somewhere, that corresponding flow action has to be defined here so that it will be advanced. Okay, and it will update the status accordingly, that we need to handle. And so notify assignee to whom it is assigned, and notify manager, notify the work party, and we can transfer it. So if it doesn't take any action in 1 hour, we need to route it to another operator or another work queue. Okay, so let's say manager is not available and is not approving, we can do that, but this is automated process, right? So if that operator doesn't perform this, it has to be routed to the different. Okay, it's like the business will give you like all the requirement in this way, and you need to configure it, but mostly it will be in days. Okay, in the real-time applications, in the days or hours mostly. Okay, so at each interval, so you can call some action, like if I want to send an email, so you can handle that. You can call an activity. So in the activity we'll write the logic to send an email, so that they will be notified about this. Okay, clear? And so here if you look at pass a deadline, so here we have a number of events option. This option is not available for goal and deadline. That means, so here we can set the number of events, let's say 5. For every 1 hour, this action will be executed for 5 times. So let's say in an organization you are not filling the time set, and you often you frequently receive the emails, right, automatically saying that like the time set is due, like that. Okay, so that means like if you put 5 for every 1 hour, it will execute 5 times. So every 1 hour the email will be sent out, maximum of 5 times. If you put 100, and if you put a day, so every day it will send an email for 100 days, like that. Okay, this option is available for only past deadline. Okay, and again here we have the options like so we can advance the flow, or we can send an email, or we can notify about this about managers, etc. So we have, but mostly we call the activities, or sometimes we select the transfer, like we route it to the different operator or work. Okay, mostly we use these two options, and generally we don't advance it, but for interviews it is important. So sometimes they will ask like so I defined this time, and so user did not take any action on that, so I want to treat it as auto approve. So how do you configure that? Okay, so you need to tell like in the corresponding interval, so we will configure this option, advanced flow, and we need to put the particular flow action. Okay, so now here we have an option called only calculate business days. So this is depends on the the calendar, and it will not if you enable this, it will not consider Saturday, Sunday, and the non-business hours. Okay, so let's say assignment is created Saturday, and but it will start calculating from Monday 9 o'clock, like that. So based on the working hours. Okay, and so here we have the different options. So let's say usually whenever the assignment is created, immediately the goal time will start calculating. And if we don't want that, I want to delay some time here. So once assignment is created, I don't want goal time to be calculating immediately, and I need to wait this assignment this much time. Okay, that means let's say assignment is created at 9 o'clock, and when the goal time will be completed, 11 o'clock, right? Because it will wait 1 hour and then it will start calculating. That means from 10 o'clock, so 10 to 11. Then if it is not performed by 11 o'clock, it will be incremented to 25. Okay, so now here, and so we have one more option like dynamically define on a property, where you can put so get date time. So you can put the date time property, and so based on that, like it will work. Okay, so it will start calculating from this date. Okay, mostly we use default option only. Okay, and yeah, so we have, okay, so in order to test now, so we cannot wait an hour, right? So what we do is we will specify in the minutes, and we'll see how the urgency getting changed, right? So this is okay, initial urgency 5, and let's change goal time is 1 minute. Before that, let's say if you put, so deadline time is less than goal time, right? It will throw an error. Okay, 1 second. No, 1 second. We selected that option, but we haven't invoked activity, right? See, goal time must be less than deadline time, right? So deadline time always greater than goal time, right? So now let's specify 1 minute as a goal time and 2 minutes deadline time, and again pass the deadline time is 1 minute. Let's say number of events 3. Click on save. Okay, and so we need to invoke on the assignment. Just give me 1 minute, I will come back. Yeah, so now let's invoke on the assignment of the flow. Okay, any question here so far? So we will send an email, so for that, like so we need to work on outbound email integration. Okay, so let's observe how the urgency is getting changed first. So take the manager SLA, and invoke on the assignment of the home loan flow. One second. Yeah, so go to the home loan flow. Okay, so here we have an option to invoke service level agreement. Okay, and so we have work object level SLA also. That means, like, so that will be applicable for all the assignments in the flow. Okay, so you don't need to invoke, in the each assignment the same SLA. So if it is the different, then, like, we can configure. Let's say for this assignment, so I want to configure some SLA, and for this assignment, I want it to be different SLA. In that case, like, we can create the SLA based on the requirement and we can invoke. Just give me a second. Okay, so go to the home loan assignment, the first one. And so here we have the service level agreement. Okay, manager SLA, call it. And so once you configure, so you see, like, timer option. So now let's execute the flow. And so what will be the urgency? 84, right? 84. Let's refresh here. This one, right? 84, HL 84, and the urgency is 15. So now, so after 1 minute, it will be 25. So we need to check that. So it's based on the urgency we defined here. So if you are not performing that assignment, it will be changed to 25. So we can refresh here. So now you can change it to, it has been changed, incremented to 25. And now, so if you wait 1 more minute, then it will be 35. So since it has more urgency, it is getting displayed on top of the list, right? So when user click on get next work, so this assignment will be open first, then home this one. Okay. And in the pass deadline, so in the pass deadline, so for every 1 minute, it will be incremented 50. Like, it will be 50, then 65, then 80, like that. So now 35, right? So likewise, the urgency will be incremented. And here, the pass deadline, for every 1 minute, for maximum of 3 times, it will execute. So urgency will be incremented. And if we invoke any action here, that will be performed 3 times. Okay. So now our requirement is in the pass deadline. So we need to send an email to the manager. Okay. So let's say two email, like whatever email we use, it will send an email to that person for 3 times. Okay, here we need to call an activity for that. So now 50, then it will be 65, then maximum urgency, it will be 70, right? Here in this case. So if we put even 40 here, the urgency will not be exceed 100. The maximum urgency would be 100 only. Okay, so let's say if you put 30, it will be 75, then 105, like that, right? But no, so it will not exceed 100. The minimum urgency is 0 and the max urgency would be 100. Okay, so now before we are invoking the activity here, so we need to know what are the functionalities, like OOTB functionality we have to send an email. Okay, it will be like outbound email. So inbound email means, so the PRPC will be able to receive the email from the external parties, and so based on that can create the case. Okay, outbound means the PRPC application will send an email to the external party or any email ID. Okay, clear? So here, yeah, so the PRPC provides the email, the OOTB activity call, send email notification. Okay, so here we just need to pass the parameters. Let's say if you want to send an email from your Gmail account, let's say, so what are the things required? So you need the from email, okay, and the password. And once you log in with these details, so you need a two email address and the subject and the email body, right? So these are the things mandatory. So here, so we need to pass those as parameters for this. So we have an activity called send email notification. So where all the business logic is already defined. Okay. So if you take this activity, send email notification. It is there in the base class, and you see, activity with the Java code, right? But so we don't need to bother about this. So we just need to pass the required parameters and the email will be sent out. Okay. So we implement this functionality for different scenario, and the same thing we will leverage it for SLA. Okay, so the requirement is, so in the first screen of the home loan or take auto loan, in the first screen, so we have the borrower details and where we have address details as well. Okay, so once you submit the first scheme, the email has to be sent out to the borrower. The borrower email will be specified in the first screen, right? So whoever apply for that, for home loan or auto loan, the email has to be sent out. Okay, that particular email address with the address details. Okay, so we can capture the two email address from the borrower page, and the from address, the password, this we can capture it from email account. Okay, so this will be the continuation scenario. So later, we modify the same thing for SLA, and we will test how it is sending an email in the passed deadline. Okay, portraying email functionality. So in the real-time applications, so what we do is we will create a email account where we specify the from address and password, and always the email will be sent out from that address. Okay, and to that we need to determine. So we cannot always send to the single the email ID, right? Okay, but from will be the same. So for that, what we need to do is we need to create email account with the details, and we can capture from that. So while sending an email, we need to take the from email password, and we can capture from email account. Okay, so go to the integration, the email accounts. So go to the Designer Studio, integration, email, and email account. So here we have an option to create new one. Let's say account ID PNC, account name also put the same, and so which email you are using as a from. The real-time applications it would be Outlook, something like I'm not sure, but since we are using the personal edition, so we need to use either Yahoo or Google, like that. Okay, so email provider will be Google here because we are using the Gmail as a from email, and so we need to use the from email address. Okay, and so user ID we can put the same, and the password. So you need to provide the password of this email. Okay, and SMTP host. So if it is a Gmail, it is smtp.gmail.com. If it is a Yahoo, it will be different. Okay, so these details enough. Clear? The reply to also you can put some email ID, and so once we send an email and they can reply back to that, and that reply emails, will be received by this. So usually, so reply to also will be the same as this. Reply to, I think it will be the same. Let me check. Sender reply to email address. Yeah. Sender reply. So we'll check that. I think it will be the same. Or if you want, you can put the different one also.
Sometimes email address is unmonitored mailbox or something.
That, yeah.
Email and reply to must be individually.
Yeah, reply to, yeah. So we'll check that. I'm not sure about. So because, so earlier we can do in a different way also. So we can, put the from email password in somewhere and we can capture it. Okay. So I will explain about, so this options later. So usually, yeah, this is the password, and the receiver is also mandatory. So you put the same. The sender, like, we send an email from these details, and to which email it has to receive. Let's say, in the inbound email, so this will be considered. Okay. So the other parties can send an email to the PRPC application, and this email will receive that. Okay. So now we can test this. So connection status, like if we are not passing the valid, the host or email address or password, then you will see the connection status as failure. Okay, since we have passed all the required parameters, okay, and the valid email addresses, so you see the status success. Okay. So whenever we create account here, one instance will be created. So I mean, like, in the corresponding table in the database. So that is there for every case, right? Like, whenever you create any rule in the PRPC, so it will be stored in the database. So whenever you create an operator ID, okay, so that will be stored in some PR_operators table in the database. And what is the class of operator? So if it is storing in some table, means we have some class here in the PRPC, right? So what is that? That is data admin operator ID. So similarly, so the email accounts also belongs to some class that we need to identify. So let's say I don't know about that class. So what you can do? Just open the email account, go to the help. Okay, here we don't. So we can open these instances from, the records tab. I will show you that. Let's say I don't know the class of this. Go to the help. So when the class is required is like, if you want to retrieve that. So we later, so we need to retrieve by using the obj open. So in that case, we need to pass the class. We can know. Okay, let me. So we have a list of email accounts. Go to the records, integration services, not services, resources. Go to the email account. Okay, from here also you can create. So we created PNC one, and you go to the help and you will find out the class, that is data email account. So another way is go to the actions, view XML. Here also you will find pxobj class, data email account. Okay. So here you don't see the checkout and check-in. Why? So these are data instances. So those classes start with data IFR. So data admin operator, do you see the checkout and check-in option for that? No, right? Because we don't need to manage the multiple versions usually. Okay. So for the data instances, you will not see the checkout and check-in option, right? So you can change at any point of time. So without, checkout and check-in, right? So now here, yeah. So later while sending an email, so we need to capture the from email address and the password and some other details. So for that, what we need to do is we need to use the obj open, okay, and pass the class and identify the primary keys and pass those values, and the corresponding information will be kept on the step page, and you can pass those details to the send email notification activity. Okay, page dot, so this property name. So, and how can identify the property names? Yeah, so take the live UI, or you can, so based on the value also you can identify. So what value you entered, and it is py email address, and it is the py password, py py host, py port, py smtp port. Likewise, so corresponding details will be available on the page, and we can pass it to the activity the same way, like how we pass for different activities. Any question? So in the real-time applications, so we follow the same way. So we can hard code the values and it will work, but that is not best practice. Okay. So let's have email account created and capture from that. Okay. And sometimes we also put these values in the another data instance, that is dynamic system settings, and where also you can define from email the password and you can capture. Okay. So I will tell about that in the next class. Okay. So in the next class,
So the
so we will work
notify.
on more functionality. 1 second, okay, and we'll see the email sending out practically, and the same activity. So we'll modify and we will call in the SLA rule form, and we'll see how it is sending. Okay. Yeah. Tell me.
So the notify action, will it send an email only to internal like operators? Can we use it for sending email to an external customer?
Which one?
Notify.
The SLA.
Notify.
Notify means like
Like we
where
were seeing some actions that in the goal deadline, there was
that
an
is depends on
option of
the email
notify.
ID. Yeah, so we'll discuss about those. So yeah, we
Okay.
can usually like we send. It will take the email address from operator profile, and it will send it. That is mostly we use for operators. Operator means like part of PRPC application, right? But so we can also send an email to the external parties who are not belongs to the PRPC application. So let's say you are working on insurance application and you need to notify about the premium, right? So you cannot only send to the employees, right? So you need to always send to the customers. So those email IDs will be there in some table, and you will fetch all those customers and you will send one by one. Okay, that is like sending an email to the multiple customers at a time. Okay. And also we have a smart safe call send email, and we can also use that. Let's say we have a flow, and when it reaches to certain shape, certain stage, so you need to send an email. So we have a send email smart save where we need to pass some parameters. Okay, but here, like, if you want to send an email through SLS, where so we cannot use the flow shape, right? So we must need to call the activity. But if you have a flow, and if you want to send an email, you can use the send email. Okay, but internally, so that send email of flow shape also will have the same logic. Okay, and we need to pass the mandatory parameters, and when it reaches to that step, that shape in the flow, it will send an email. The flow is involving, and if you are sending from that, you can use the send email. Otherwise, we can create an activity. Okay, so we'll work on that smart shape also tomorrow. Any questions? So here we have an option called test connectivity. So if the status is failure, that means some of the details are incorrect. So if you are putting different SMTP other than this and click on test connectivity, it will be fail. Okay.
This one, it came automatically, right?
Yeah, automatically. But like, if you are defining somewhere and capturing it, as I said, like, so we have other option called dynamic system settings. So where we need to put this value manually, smtp.gmail.com. So it will be the same. It will not be changed. The port number is not mandatory. Okay. But yeah, while passing to the send email notification, so you must need to take the host, but port is not required. If you want, you can pass that also. Okay. Yeah, so we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks, Satya.